Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Pele, Josh Pele, Mario Heron. Glad to be back as the Chargers are playing game 2 of the second preseason game. Of course, they host this game with the Saints. One of these games, guys, that for a second there looked like it wasn't even going to happen because of the weather that's going on in Southern California with all the talk of this hurricane. And, the Major League Baseball closed down throughout Southern California. But what do you do in the NFL? And it's funny, we always talk about the almighty dollar, and you go, well, how do you make it up? Because on Saturday, the Raiders and the Rams played at SoFi Stadium. It's not like in baseball where, hey, when you're available, we'll just fly you back into town to play. This is football where injuries happen and bruises happen and people freak out. You got to get this game in unless you just watch it. Now, we all know that if you have season tickets to the Chargers or any other NFL team, a preseason game against the Saints counts the same as that week 1 ticket you have against the Miami Dolphins. And what do they always say in business? You don't return money. We're going to make this thing happen. Doesn't matter if the roof is blown right off the SoFi Stadium. We're playing this damn game. That's just the way it's going to go. And sure enough, we got this game in.
It's football, right? You have to play unless there's thunder and lightning. Even if there's a tornado watch in Southern California, you got to play, which is the craziest. I can't believe this stuff. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, safety first. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. There's not one cloud in the sky the whole week, and you guys are on tornado and hurricane watch. It's absolutely unreal. Mario's the only one.
We had an earthquake today. We had an earthquake too.
You had an earthquake today?
We had a big one.
1.1.
It was a 5.5. That's a big one.
Wow.
In Los Angeles, a 5.5. And we never have tornadoes, Mario, in Southern California. All of a sudden, everyone got that notice on your phone. Hey, tornado watch. And I'm like, tornado? So you name it, we've been looking out for everything. I think the scariest thing today, Josh, probably was the people who felt the earthquake. I didn't feel it, but a 5.5 happened, and the rain has just been a regular rain so far, not daring it as we're sitting there talking, and all of a sudden this is the last video or audio that you ever see of my face. This is me before I never showed up again. This but as of right now, nothing hasn't been scary at all.
I'm happy you're safe. Mario's the only one of us three that has to deal with real weather. He thinks we're the softest people alive, softer than we already are. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. I've lived through a couple of tornadoes in my timeline. Everyone, hopefully you're safe. I'm definitely scared. That's actually like the biggest fear of mine is being stuck in a hurricane like that. I don't know why. Like I remember, when I was like a little kid and I was always in Florida, and every time it rained, my older brother would tap me. He goes, "Hurricane's coming," and I would scream my head off. I'd tweak out. So, but I hope everyone's safe, and
all right,
I have safe travels. And
all right, I gotta ask the question right now. What the hell do you think was going to happen to you?
Dude,
do you think you're going to get blown away? What the hell was going to happen to you?
Dude, I thought a shark was going to come in and just snap me. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen. And I'll never forget it, too. There was a tornado, on the ocean one time. And I remember seeing it. And I think I was, 8 years old. And I was just like, all right, this is it. I got 8 years old. I was like,
this is it. 8 years old.
Yeah, it's been fun. Guys. Yeah. I was like, I'm so pumped I don't have to do second grade. It's like, all right,
What's your most scary natural disaster?
Oh, wow. God, that's a good question.
Tsunami.
A tsunami's scary.
You guys did a tsunami? Wait, what's
no? I thought the question was just in general.
Yeah. What would you not want to be caught in at your most scary natural disaster?
Tsunami, 100-mile-an-hour water? No.
Yeah. Wait, dumb question. What's the difference between a tsunami and a hurricane?
Oh, tsunami, man. The ocean literally comes and grabs you out of the land and pulls you back in, sucks in, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Like, just literally comes out and grabs you, picks your body up, the whole town, and then will bring you back in the ocean and kill you. That's basically it. Tsunamis don't happen in the United States, obviously, very often. Where's the Josh, you help me out on this. Where was the big giant one 15 years ago where you just saw it roll in? I live maybe 7 miles from the beach, and I keep thinking, all right, if a tsunami happened, would it come all the way out here and get me, or am I good? I think I'm good, right, Josh? 7 miles in?
Yeah, you're probably not. The last big tsunami was 2011 in Japan. It's Asia always gets hit by the tsunamis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're pretty far away from Asia.
And it's super. Yeah, Josh is right. Super fast, super powerful. You're done. So I don't think tsunami. I was thinking earthquake, tornado, hurricane, For me, a tornado that would scare me the most.
I've seen too many tornadoes where I'm like, it's scary, but it's kind of like,
Nah.
okay, yeah, it's kind of. But like hurricane, dude, hurricane, I'm tweaking. All that water coming through the street, dude. Screw that. I'd be freaking out. I would. So everyone, please be safe, because I'd be the worst person to be with.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question. We go to the Charger game. Dave, let's say you didn't watch the game, okay, and you were just looking at a box score. What would jump out to you? What's something that would jump out to you?
You know what? Okay, so here's the deal: is I was disappointed with Easton Stick. Is that sound crazy? Because I complimented him last week. You know, you don't ever want to think about your starting quarterback going down. I know the NFL does everything they can to protect your quarterback. Well, we saw last year in week 2 where Herbert got hurt against the Chiefs and had the broken ribs. And obviously he wasn't the same player for a while. And okay, so if your quarterback goes down, could your backup maintain a couple games? You know, usually when a backup goes in, he looks great the first time he's in a game because the other team hasn't prepared for him. And obviously the offense kind of changes a little bit to his strengths. But with Easton Stick last week against the Rams, I thought he looked pretty good. And this week I didn't like the way he started. And just one of those where we talk about depth all the time. Look, I think all three of us agree, pretty talented team. Like the window of opportunity is definitely here for the Chargers. When people say, you know, you guys are negative, I disagree with that. That bothers me when people say we're negative. I don't think we're negative. I think we expect a lot. I think it's fair to keep your expectations high. If your expectations are to go through the season, make the playoffs and lose in week 1 and go, that was a good season, I'm sorry. This is not the show for you. I'm not the person you ever want to listen to. I'm a competitor. I know Josh is a competitor. I know Mario is a competitor. That's just the way it is, man. We want to win. We want the teams that we follow to win. And to sit there and go through another season like last year where you lose to Jacksonville in an embarrassing way is not okay for us as fans, for people who follow this team, people who talk about this team. I 100% do not want to sit next to you at a game if you're that guy that's content with never winning a Super Bowl, never going to a Super Bowl, not being afraid to look for a better coach. Man, I'm sorry. Forget this good guy stuff. If you don't get that parade and you aren't holding that trophy, man, look, you did it wrong. You did it wrong. And the window of opportunity is here now for this team. So when we point out negative things, I'll speak for myself. We point out negative things. We're pointing out negative things because there's a couple of loose ends we're concerned about. They have 6 guys in the top 100. You got to win. You got to do better than what they did last year. And I mean, going to an AFC championship game, going to a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl. Those are the only 3 steps that I'll sit there and say Staley can keep his job as of now. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong, man, but dude, it's too long. It's been too long not to have a Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, I think that what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. If you're a Charger fan, you've gone through it with Dan Fouts, a great quarterback. You've gone through it with Philip Rivers, a great quarterback. Now we have another great quarterback with Justin Herbert. So how would you not demand more? It obviously has not worked, okay? So if you want something more from your team, you should demand it as a fan. This is not okay, like Dave said. And he speaks for me too, because I feel the same exact way. How are you going to get upset? How are you going to get upset with us for saying how we feel about a team that hasn't won? Justin Herbert, he's great. The comeback to everything he does is he's never won a playoff game. So how can you not demand more out of the whole Chargers team? I don't get that from fans. You should want a show that's honest. I think most people do appreciate that. But to get upset with guys that are just being honest and how they feel about a team that hasn't lived up to the hype. Dave said 6 guys in the top 100 last year. We had 8 guys in the top 100. The time is now. I understand the Chiefs are in the division. The time's now. And I want to step back with what you said about Easton Stick. His dad has to be disappointed he's not a baseball player, right? Easton Stick, Easton baseball bat, stick for bat. I mean, come on now. This guy had to be a baseball player. But I thought he was okay. The turnovers are a little bit concerning. Sean O'Hara at halftime made a comment. Do you really want a backup quarterback to be a guy that only has 2 regular season snaps, is what he said. Well, it kind of reminds myself of myself when I was coming out of college and I was looking for a job and I couldn't get a job because you needed job experience. Well, how are you supposed to get job experience if you can't get an opportunity? I think Easton Stick, he's been in the league for a little bit now. I mean, he's not a rookie by any means. He's been here for a few years. He deserves an opportunity. Chase Daniel looked like the game was too fast for him. He's too old. Easton Stick is a guy that can move out of the pocket a lot like Justin Herbert. I look at the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson had 2 backup quarterbacks that played a lot like Lamar Jackson. I think it's really smart because if Lamar Jackson gets hurt, like he did last year, you have a backup quarterback that can run the same offense. When Justin Herbert got hurt, Chase Daniel is not the same quarterback as Justin Herbert by any means. He sits in the pocket. Easton Stick to me is a lot like Justin Herbert. So I kind of like the move of having a quarterback that's like the starter.
Yeah. First off, I mean, his dad definitely named him and goes, he's going to be such a perfect baseball player. And, I think a substitution for an NFL player will definitely be okay. I imagine his dad's pretty proud of him. So good for him. Good for the dad. He struggles with the deep ball. I think we've seen that in the past 2 games now. We've seen like there's a deep ball he threw to Hightower today. I was in double coverage. It wasn't a catchable ball. It seemed forced. He goes through his reads a little bit quickly, but it's also just a backup quarterback, right? Like that's a reason why you're a backup. You're not obviously throwing against guys at a very high caliber. Obviously, you're throwing against guys that are also battling for a spot. This is kind of their time to get their playing time. Though, when he finally goes to his legs, I think that's when he's at his best. On their touchdown drive he had, like he set that up by scrambling and getting over 20 yards and get inside the 15, and then they score a touchdown by running the option. He makes a good read and runs it into the end zone. So I think when he uses his legs and kind of embraces that factor of it, that's when he kind of finds the right balance. And I think for a backup QB, look, your backup QB, I'm fine if you're running it. It's a running quarterback league at this point. You got to be able to at least run it a little bit. I'm fine if he subs in for Herbert at any point and, we get him running the option, get him a little bit more crazy out there on the rollouts. I'm completely fine with that. But I will say this about this game. Darius Davis just gets – I've really, really just crowned this guy so much for special teams and excitement he brings. But every time he returns that kickoff, man, I always feel like he's just one broken tackle away. Like that's how I feel every single time, and that gets me excited.
He's right up your alley. He's right up your alley. I mean, Michael Bandy's gone. All right, this is my guy. Like you're that guy.
Yeah, he is.
You like the underdog fast guys. That is you. More opportunities for those guys. He's your guy this year, without a doubt. It's funny you brought up the scenario about a backup quarterback about being like the starting quarterback, and it does make sense for the offense, everything else. Like even if I was the Miami Dolphins, I would look for a left-handed backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? The ball spins the opposite way than a right-handed quarterback, and it's so unusual. If a couple things I would do, I'd go left-handed backup quarterback if I had a left-handed starter, and man, whenever I could find a a left-footed punter, I would find a punter that kicks lefty. You don't practice it. You don't practice the ball spinning the other way. And man, we talk about turnovers all the time, being able to steal one. If I'm a punt returner, number one, it's the worst job in the NFL because everyone expects you just to catch it like it's automatic. I don't know about you guys. Trying to catch a punt from a real punter is so hard to do. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And then you're on national TV. You're in a playoff game. You have a crowd of 75,000 people. And then all of a sudden, it's like as hard as this job is. And I got 11 guys trying to knock your D in the dirt, and you're sitting there going, man, this is hard. And then so you're sitting there all of a sudden, you got a lefty going, I got to prepare for this. I would not want that job at all. That to me, that would be like the most high pressure job that I would not want. I wouldn't want to be that or the guy who has to snap the ball on an important field goal.
Yeah.
Everyone always talks about catching the ball and getting the ball down for the guy to kick it. Dude, what if the guy just rolls it back all of a sudden? We saw that in a playoff game. The Giants did it with the 49ers like 10 years ago. And the guy could barely get on the plane and go home. Everyone takes that for granted. None of this stuff is easy in a high-pressured situation.
No, it's totally a thankless job to be the guy that snaps the ball. Darius Davis muffs a punt and it goes out of bounds. I don't look much into that. I think Mario said it last week. We just want to see him make plays. If he's taking every punt and trying to run with it, that's cool with me. It's a preseason. I like guys that are trying to make plays. Mario, is there a guy to you that kind of stood out today? And I'll go first. I like Keelan Doss, and I remember watching him on Hard Knocks a few years ago and how good he looked. I think he could definitely be a guy that can make an impact this year if we need a receiver that far down the line. I actually do like him more as a receiver than a guy like Darius Davis. I want Darius Davis to focus on special teams, and if they want to move him into the offense, I would honestly like to see him more in the backfield than I would like to see him in the slot. Keelan Doss, to me, is a guy that can make an impact. He looks like he knows what he's doing out there. Easton Stick is looking for him on every single play when he drops back. So I think a guy like Keelan Doss is a guy that made a positive impact today that really jumped out.
He caught my eye today, 100%. I think I look towards too much for rookies just because I like to see rookie progression. And when I was doing that, Henley popped right away. Just, dude, that guy is an animal for the football. I mean, that guy goes after it in any way he can. Fast, very fast. In coverage, he collapses on the football quick. I loved what he showed on film today. I thought he flew around the field really well. And he showed like just little glimpses of just kind of strong leadership on the field. I mean, he's the middle linebacker. You're the one that's getting the play, and you got to run the defense in a way. His vocalness on the field, like you could kind of tell, like the people, he's very respected by the guys on the field. I kind of like that a lot. Like that was something that really stood out to me. I loved also the beautiful. I mean, it was a beautiful swim move by Thule. Thule made a beautiful swim move.
Yep.
I think it was a 5-yard loss. I mean, it was gorgeous. Side point: how many times are we going to hear this year that he called Mac and Boza sir? Is over under has got to be 20. If he gets on the field, they're going to mention that right away. So get ready for that story, guys. And it's going to be so fun to hear every single time. So look forward to that one. But those two guys I think really stood out to me right away. It was Henley and Thule. I mean, I'm just happy to see Thule get a play, get a little tackle behind loss for him. Still kind of waiting for him to progress a little bit more. But other than that, I was pretty happy about it. Chris Rumpf got a holding call in the first possession of the game that kind of really halted Jameis Winston and the poor Saints. But it's fun to watch.
So here's the deal. Keelan Doss did well today, all right? How many wide receivers did the Chargers end up carrying? It's going to be very interesting when you figure out what the final roster is for the Los Angeles Chargers. What are they going to do? People always think, 53 guys, that's a lot. It's not a lot. And so they're talking about a veteran team, as we said, that have so many talented players, and you try and break down which guys are going to stay. And you never know when in a trade. You never know if a guy like Josh Palmer, we keep saying he's the forgotten guy this year. There's a reason why you went and got Quentin Johnson, that Josh Palmer maybe fell out of favor or doesn't do things that they're looking for Quentin Johnson to do, that all of a sudden you're trading a guy. Like we have no idea. What's always interesting to me about the NFL, when you look at the 53-man rosters, is that there'll be guys who go, I made the team. We've seen it on Hard Knocks, Mom, Dad, I made the team, or whoever, those phone calls. And then all of a sudden, the Browns cut somebody that, the Philadelphia Eagles can use, and they pick that guy up, and the guy that just made the phone call to his parents is now gone. You know what I mean? It just, you never, ever have that steady spot unless you're a top 6 player on your NFL roster. You just don't know what's going to happen. If I was a GM, you guys tell me, if I was a GM in this league, I am keeping my eye on that wire for who's getting cut, man, when I'm looking at the Eagles and I'm looking at the Niners. Because, man, I know those two rosters are loaded. There are guys on those rosters that are in camp right now that someone's going to be without a job, and you going, that guy could fit right in here. I mean, and not even saying the Chargers are looking for guys, but like if you're a team like the Rams or the Cardinals, right, that we know are just bones bare, just terrible, there have to be guys that are getting cut from those two organizations, especially. We're going, we'll take you. We'll take all your cuts. Bring them in.
Especially along the D-line, man. I hate watching the Chargers middle of their D-line. I love watching the guys on the end. Mario said it. Thule look really good to me. I think if he keeps progressing, he could make a big impact this year. The guys in the middle of the D-line aren't very good. And whoever, I don't know who the broadcaster was for the game. I'm the worst at this. Dave's the best at this. Dude just grilled people all game. I don't know if Mario, you caught that at all. The dude was grilling people every play. I don't know what the hell he's doing out there. But the defensive line, to me, is still a giant issue. I'm definitely looking at the Eagles and the 49ers, whoever they cut. You should look at them. But the wide receiver, I don't know, man. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen have not proved that they're going to stay healthy throughout their careers. So maybe you keep a lot. Donald Parham, we have like 3 tight ends. Donald Parham drops a touchdown today, right in his hands, hit him in a bad spot. I don't know, man. I Donald Parham, to me, has been here. He's been hurt. He's not a guy to me that's proven anything. He's 6'8". I get it. But if you can't catch wide open touchdowns in your hands, what kind of value do you bring towards the team? Maybe we go with a bunch of wide receivers.
That was a bad drop that when you get cut and or when you make the team, and let's just say there's another stud that just gets cut, get ready for that to come out on Twitter. Get ready for that clip to come out and go, we really cut this guy and kept this guy. Like, look at him drop this pass. Like, that was just one of those players who was like, God, to be in the film room the next day watching that play, I would rather be anywhere else in the freaking world. That would be no bueno. But I digress. First off, can we all admit this game was a tough watch? The first quarter was a very, very tough watch. Josh, I almost texted you and go, I think we should just throw $200 each on the under, and let's just at least get through this. Because it was an ugly watch. It was pretty piss poor. Jameis Winston didn't even do anything funny either. Thought we were gonna get a funny Jameis moment. We didn't get one.
Yeah, it's funny. Right now, as you're sitting here and you think back to the second week of preseason. I told you guys before this started how excited I am that guys are just wearing football uniforms on a field again. Dude, I hate it. I really hate
you get
this
sick of it
preseason.
quick.
Like, I really want it to just go on. When are the Dolphins getting here? Like, when are we going for real? Because they don't play the guys that you're going to see. You really don't have an idea how good your team is. You get an idea of some of your backups and when guys get cut. But, man, I think all of these NFL preseason games have been really hard to watch, especially this year. I wonder if almost you just blame Sean McVay. When McVay just said, I'm never going to play a starter ever again. And then all of a sudden, all these other teams don't play starters either. It is hard to watch throughout. It's not it's not fun. It is the biggest ripoff in sports. As I just told you guys at the beginning, they charge as much for this game as they do for any regular season game when you buy season tickets. It's such a scam. And it's not the Chargers. I'm not pointing the finger at the Chargers. It's the entire NFL. This is such a scam that you have to do it.
Yeah, this is
ridiculous.
like the first day of school. You wake up hyped, right? You can't even sleep the night before. You're like, everybody's wearing their best. You want to see all the chicks and all that. And then second day of school, you're like, this sucks. Like that's what I felt like today. Like this wasn't that fun. And I blame the Saints, by the way. At the time of this recording, 14 penalties for the Saints. The Saints could not stop holding. Storm Norton, by the way, first penalty of the day, which was nice to see because the Chargers have been seeing that from Storm Norton for the last couple of years. And he does it for the Saints now. But I blame the Saints. It was really hard to watch, like Mario said. Jameis Winston was – I thought Easton Stick honestly looked better than Jameis Winston. The stats might not say that, but Easton Stick with 2 rushing touchdowns, making plays. Yeah, I just want the Dolphins to come. The Bills don't listen to Sean McVay, obviously, because Josh Allen out there playing, which was wild. He's running all over the field, which is wild. I don't know why the hell you would do that in a preseason game. So I'm just happy
just in the regular season.
Yeah, it doesn't get hit enough.
Borrowed time.
Yeah, interesting you brought that up. How do you guys feel about Anthony Richardson did not play on Saturday? How do we feel about that? Stupid. I was in a debate about this morning. So yeah, let's embrace debate a little bit because it's very interesting.
I'll go first. How about this? Nobody needs more preseason time than him. Yeah, and I mean, I'm literally out of every single player in the NFL. He's already the starter, right? They've already announced that. Yes. Why the hell would you not play him in the preseason? That guy, what did he prove to you at Florida that he has it down pat? This NFL to the college football is way faster. And he already looked like it was too fast for him in college. Why would you not play him in the preseason?
Want me to tell you why? You tell me, Mark, because I know you have a big opinion. You thought about this. I'm going to give you my opinion. You tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. They didn't play him, Josh, because they don't want to expose him for whoever they're facing in week 1. They don't want to show everybody how he's not ready. Look, they're going to do everything they can to get him ready in practice. It made 0 sense for him to play in week 2 if they weren't trying to hide him. They're trying to hide, and when you're going to see him in week 1, they're going to do things that he's really good at doing, whether that's running the ball, whether it's simple passes that are 3-4 yards. It's going to be his athletic ability to help them win at the very beginning. They're going to try and sneak a win. They don't want to expose him, man. He can't read a defense. He's scared. You saw him with the happy feet. He's throwing off balance. He looked like, no joke, he looked like if he would have stuck a me back there because I'm going, oh, my God, these guys get here fast. That's what he looked like, right? I hate to say it. I mean, trust me, man. You're talking to the guy that throws 12 touchdowns every single Thanksgiving day. I'm freaking great in the park when I know I'm not going to get hit. But, man, all of a sudden in the NFL, I don't care how big you are, those guys are going full speed at you, and they get there in a hurry, and you have to make your reads. Even Easton Stick, who's been around – I'm pointing at my TV if you're wondering. I'm not pointing at the sky prank. Even Easton Stick, who has been in the NFL a long time, man, he's a one-read guy, and he takes off running. There are guys who are open, and Easton Stick's not throwing to the guys underneath. He's not making the reads that an NFL quarterback does. Anthony Richardson hasn't seen close to the speed that Easton Stick has seen. Mario, am I wrong? You can tell me I'm wrong, but I honestly believe that the Colts are hiding him right now.
So I do agree with that in a way of I think the reason to not play him is my first thought was their scheme just to go in of like what they've been working on, like kind of game plan is that they're really gonna rely on his legs. Like really gonna rely on his legs. Like that's just what I thought of it. I'm like, and you don't want to do that in preseason and the threat of him getting hurt. And then you don't want in the preseason of, his throwing's not all the way there. Oh my God, his throwing's like really bad. Like he plays the first quarter and he's like 2 for 10. And you're like, whoa, we're in trouble. Like, and I mean, it didn't. And the argument to why he should have played as well, like for people that didn't know, like the Bears roster, the Bears sat almost every single person. So he would be going against number 2s, AKA he could have padded his stats a little bit. Like obviously it looked a little bit better. But I think what it ultimately came down to is I think their game plan this year is to literally rely on his legs. I think he's going to set a record for the most rushing yards by a QB in one season. I think he's going to set a record by a rookie quarterback. Like, I think he's going to do all that because I think they're really going to rely on that because they got no one to freaking throw to. That was a close one. Close one, folks. Alex Pierce, I mean, okay. He's a third wide out best.
What is the record? Is it Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson did the same thing. He ran like crazy his first year.
I think Fields took it last year.
Did he?
Yeah, because Jackson played only half the year. Jackson only played half the year.
As a rookie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to know. I mean, holy cow, man.
Hey, okay. Here's since we're going to be talking about this upcoming season, other teams. Yeah. Here's my hot take. Dave hates when people use the word take. Here's my hot take.
I do.
Yeah. Why, you want to tell the people why you hate it?
Oh yeah, I hate it because it's what's your opinion? Here's my opinion. Take is something Jim Rome came up with. Okay. I worked with Jim Rome when I first started in radio years and years ago, 30 years ago. And take became, that's kind of cool. He says something that other people don't say. Then when people use it, like Josh just said, he's not the only one that does it. I'm like, what are you doing? Like if you went back in school, all right, when in 1985, let's say, and you use the word take, your teacher would go, what the hell did you just say? It's not the correct way. If you wrote that in an essay, you wrote take, you know how much trouble you'd get in? It's not the right form. What's your opinion? It's the correct form.
All right.
Take.
Right.
Okay.
Here's my hot
boomer. I'm sorry, I'm not the guy with the 0.0 rating using take, and everyone can't wait to use that. All right. Go ahead.
Here's my hot
hurricane
opinion.
Mode. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Hurricane Dave. Here's my hot opinion, all right? For anybody that says the preseason doesn't matter, I agree with you, except for a few players, okay? There's always a few players that show out in the preseason just like an NBA Summer League, and that guy ends up being a guy.
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell, Purdue quarterback that's on the Raiders. He is going to be the starter at one point for the Raiders. He looks really good in this preseason. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to that guy. He's the dorkiest looking guy you've ever seen a quarterback ever. The dude can play, and he looks great for the Raiders. I don't know if Jimmy G stays healthy, and if he doesn't, I think the Raiders might be okay with Aiden O'Connell as their future quarterback. The kid's pretty good.
So, Josh, it's so funny you say that. One of my friends here, a lot of my friends here went to Purdue, and I had a friend that was overserved, and at if you probably timed it out every 5-minute mark, he would say, AOC is going to be the starting QB for the Raiders. AOC is so good. Like, they are full on believing in it that he's going to be a really good quarterback for the Raiders. People forget he was not a bad quarterback at Purdue, and like Bond that he played for. No, Brown. I'm sorry. Is it Bond or Brown? I can't remember his name. I don't know. Whatever. The guy was like air raid genius, Purdue's head coach. Under him, like learned the offense pretty well. He's got McDaniels, who's not a bad OC. Like I could really see that happening, and I kind of wanted to because, like you said, when you take the pads off and take them like 100 yards away from any football, he looks like a guy you just see at Walmart, and you'd probably go, "I'm going to go to the other aisle." So he's like, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he does not look like he's a professional athlete. But he's
wait, do they really call him? Do they really call him AOC? Yeah,
that's a very common theme. Very common thing.
He's not even the most famous politician in the United States. Yeah.
That girl, right?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is AOC. Yeah.
All right, way to flex on us.
No, I'm just saying that it's so ridiculous that you take a nickname. All right. Is anyone named Air Jordan in Purdue too? What the hell?
I'll go right after this when we go protest in West Lafayette.
Are those guys walking around with their Purdue Letterman jackets like those guys at Notre Dame? I know about those guys.
Oh no, they wear rings, brother. They wear rings.
Damn.
Rings and polos.
Wait, hey, Dave, what do you think though? A guy that watches the Raiders as much as we do. Do you think there's any chance that happens?
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. I mean, Jimmy
have you been
G's
watching that
not doesn't
kid?
have a hit. Yeah. Well, again, he looked good, but then he faced the Rams, and I would go, man, how bad are the Rams? Right? I mean, really, the Rams are really bad. Like Aaron Donald's in for a really bad, probably last year of his career. Like Aaron Donald's going to retire after this year, going, I don't want to do this anymore. I have no chance of winning another Super Bowl. I'm out. And then you look at the quarterback situation. He's going to want out. Cooper Kupp. If you're the Rams, what are you just going to hold on to him? Really, look, I have no problem with the Rams. The Charger fans would do the same thing. We're all in for one big year just to say we won a Super Bowl. And then you stink for maybe the next 5 years. That's what the Rams are right now. The Rams are going to stink for a while. But so when you look at a guy who's had success against the Rams, it's kind of hard to judge, Josh, and nothing to take away from AOC. But at the same time, I just don't know how good the Rams are.
Okay. Can I rebuttal really quickly? Let me rebuttal really quickly.
Go.
I'm gonna do it, dude. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't think the Rams are going to be as bad as everyone thinks they are. I really, really don't. But I think people are going to double down on how bad they are after the first, I think, 5 games of the season, because they go at Seahawks, home against the Niners, at Cincy, at Indianapolis, home against Philly. There's a realistic way that they start the season 1-4. And I'm telling you, if they're 1-4, you simply get out your phone and you go to BetMGM and you buy stock like it's your Leonardo DiCaprio on Wolf of Wall Street, and then you buy someone else and you tell them to buy that stock as well. Because I swear on my life that I think this team can kind of win that division, pending that Niners are going college football. Let's play QB with 3 different guys, and that blows up in their face and doesn't really work. And then Geno Smith reminds everyone that he's Geno Smith. So quick take I got from that one.
I think an advantage the Rams have is that they're in the division with the worst team in the NFL. I think the Arizona Cardinals are so freaking bad. I think they're definitely in contention to get Caleb Williams as the number 1 pick. That's how bad they are. Never like Kyler Murray. The thing with the Rams, though, too, is they don't have depth. I mean, we always talk about the Chargers, but the Rams really just do not have depth. They have Cooper Kupp, they have Aaron Donald, and they have Matt Stafford and kind of Cam Akers. I mean, who the hell is on the Rams? I get your top heavy with that team, but Geno Smith could be a big reason why the Rams actually make some noise. Geno Smith could revert back to being Geno Smith. But the Rams, to me, I think they're a couple inches away from also contending for the first pick.
You know what's interesting about the Rams-Raiders game? I don't know if you guys caught any of it, but is the Raiders have Damian Williams on their team. Remember, he should have won Super Bowl MVP for the Chiefs. And he ended up, remember, he stopped playing football because his mom was sick, and he was taking care of his mom, so he stopped playing. But he's trying to, here he's back with the Raiders, trying to make it as a running back. The other guy on the Rams, Royce Freeman, who was supposed to be the star running back for the Broncos, back in the NFL, trying to earn a spot. I think Freeman's career is probably about over, but
they're both from San Diego.
Yeah, they are.
Both guys.
They're both San Diego guys, but it's interesting to see, like, especially Damian Williams, who, I mean, the NFL, right? The whole line that came out that you've seen on NFL films a million times, the not for long, man, it is never more true. I mean, we've already talked about 3 times on this show about guys that are in and they're out all of a sudden extremely fast. It is not for long. Look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Dude, Andy Reid has zero business with that guy. Once you found Isaiah Pacheco, hey, I never knew you. Like, literally, if you're checking your gate key, this door doesn't open. Is something wrong with my card? No, it doesn't work for a reason. Isaiah Pacheco's card works. Sorry.
I don't know. The crazy thing is, too, I mean, we talk about it every single show, but the quarterbacks are the dictator of how good your team is. Dude, the Chiefs roster is not good. I'm looking at the Chiefs right now, but they got the best player in the league, and they got the best tight end in the league. Who the hell? I mean, they have a couple other guys. They got Chris Jones. But the Chargers, to me, if you're talking about a full roster, unbiased, the Chargers, to me, definitely have the best roster in the division. We should be demanding a lot right now. 100%, especially with Kellen Moore while we have him. We should be demanding a lot right now. The Chargers should be winning double-digit games for sure this season, especially in the weak division that we have. And don't give me Sean Payton crap. Sean Payton is the most hated man in the NFL. If you're watching Hard Knocks, Sean Payton broke #1 rule amongst coaches by talking crap about Nathaniel Hackett. So I'm over the Broncos. I know Mario likes Sean Payton a lot. I hope they're the worst team in the league.
Talk about a team that's not so happy in paradise. Like, don't take, obviously, preseason, not too much, but they don't look like great. Like there's a lot of I don't want to know if I want to say tension, but just they don't look like very clean. Like it just doesn't. I don't know. Like I thought they would kind of come out and like they would, like Payne would have that ship really kind of sailing, and then talk smack about another coach, crap it on him, so to make him look so much better. And then it's not all sunshine and rainbows in Denver, mushrooms.
All right. It's weird because Sean Payton's a guy that Sean Payton's a guy who has won. I mean, he has a Super Bowl ring, right? He has a reputation. He's a guy I was pushing on this show like crazy. I wanted the Chargers to go after. Sean Payton is a guy, to me, though, has gone, especially since he went into TV and watched from afar, has fallen even more in love with himself than he ever has. And to me, it's a mess. I don't see this going well. I'm not saying it because I don't want to see it go well. And I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to see it go well. But Sean Payton seemed to almost has forgotten the rule that the players make more money than you. The players are more important than you. They're, when you fire a coach, a lot easier to fire a coach than fire 53 guys. A lot of times the GM stays around and the coach is gone. This doesn't look like a good fit at all. I mean, Andy Reid had success when he was in Philadelphia. Didn't win a Super Bowl, but man, he was in big games all the time and couldn't turn the corner. Went to KC, and I guarantee Andy Reid will tell you he's changed a couple things about himself. You can tell there's a relationship with him and the players. At some point, you have to have a relationship with at least your top players. For Sean Payton to come in, rip the hell out of the old coach, which kills the coaching fraternity, but then he tells players, hey, no sunglasses, no bucket hats, no, he has all these rules that don't really affect wins and losses unless he's looking for a discipline factor. I'm not around the Broncos. You guys are around the Broncos. The Broncos aren't a team that you hear of discipline problems, that just things run amok. And if I'm one of the players, I'm turning to my guy in the locker room going, this guy with the no sunglasses and the no bucket hats, he coached in a dome his whole damn career. You don't need those things there. Guess what? The glare in my eyes is driving me crazy. My neck is sunburned. My ears are sunburned. Give me a goddamn hat. What the hell? What are you doing? Like, pick your fights on what really matters and wins and losses. Sean Payton, man, you are not off to a good start with a lot of people throughout the NFL. I mean, when it's all over, let's see if Sean Payton even gets another TV job because he's burned so many bridges. I'm telling you, that shot he took at Nathaniel Hackett was one that people in the NFL will not forget. It is a fraternity.
Yeah.
He ruined it.
I think in some ways he'll be remembered a lot for that comment that he made. It was such a bull crap comment. Something's weird's going on in Denver. I know people want to talk about weed and all that in Denver. Dude, Russell Wilson turned into a totally different guy when he got there. And then Sean Payton starts talking out of his ass. I mean, I don't know what the hell goes on over there. It's great as a Charger fan. I love it. So entertaining. Hard Knocks should have been the Broncos.
You're right.
Should have been. Oh, if they hot mic'd Payton too on him really crapping on Hackett, that would have been that would have been all time. Would have been all time. Also, people I'm saying this now in hindsight. Obviously, I was a big advocate. I wanted Payton to come to the Chargers. I still think he's a Hall of Fame coach, one of the best offensive minds, blah, blah, blah. But also just it's very interesting that he only has one Super Bowl, right? And only one Super Bowl appearance.
Mm-hmm.
In a division that they kind of owned for a good amount of time with a Hall of Fame QB. That's very interesting that of all that, you got one. You and Mike McCarthy both got one.
What's funny though?
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that, Mario? It is one. You're 100% right. But if you talk to Saints fans, they'll tell you the Rams ripped them off on that terrible call.
Yeah.
They'll tell you the Vikings ripped them off on that terrible call. The Eagles, I think, got them too, right? There are 3 major plays in the playoffs, 3 years in a row, where the Saints were like, that should have been us. That should have been in the Super Bowl. Remember they were petitioning that the Rams shouldn't be in the Super Bowl and it should be the Saints because of that? Yeah, it was a terrible call. But it's what happened. It just happened 3 years in a row to Sean Payton and the Saints. It's hilarious because I'm not a Saints fan. But if I was a Saints fan, I'd be extremely upset. We'd probably still be talking about it in this show. I can't get over the Jacksonville game still,
Here's my question. Sean Payton's a great coach, but Mario's one Super Bowl. How much crap can you talk? I mean, you're great, but you have one. You don't have 6 like Jordan.
McCarthy has one.
Yeah, you can talk, but you can't really talk. You haven't done it that many. You've done it once. You can't talk like that to me. Andy Reid was like, Nathaniel Hackett sucks. I'm like, dude, he said he sucks. He's the best. Sean Payton, come on, man. You haven't even been coaching. And you calling your shot too. You're basically saying, I can only go up from here is what he said. So
Yeah.
he's trying to give himself some cushion on this season. They're so weak, man. I really hope they suck. Hope the Raiders and Broncos have like 3 wins each.
You know, it's funny,
That'd be
man.
fun.
The two head coaches I want to see struggle this year, they're both in the same area. I want to see Sean Payton struggle because he ran his mouth, and I want to see Deion Sanders struggle. You know,
Me too. Really?
I 100%
too.
do. And here's the deal. Good luck, man. When you're a high school athlete and you go to a school, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Anyway, you got a high school athlete, you go to a school, you choose, that's your school. You chose Colorado. New coach comes in and goes, transfer portal's right there. I don't want you. You can go. And you made a life decision that this is where I'm going to become a man. This is what was the right fit for me. New coach comes in, does this. I will say this about Deion Sanders as a football player, best corner I've ever seen. Not even close. As a man, you want to prove me wrong, Deion, you have to win 10 or 11 games next year. And if you don't win 10 or 11 games, and you could say, oh, it's his first year. Really? Because Lincoln Riley did the same damn thing at USC, and he pulled it off. So same conference, let's see you pull it off. You better pull off the same thing. And if you don't, there's no excuses. You went with your guys, just like Lincoln Riley did. You even have your son playing quarterback. He knows the system. So Deion, it's time to put up. No excuses. I'm telling you, people are going to fall back on excuses when Deion ends up with 6 wins this year. I don't want to hear it.
But that's such a crappy school that like 6 wins is 11 for him.
They won a national championship one time. Like in 1990. Yeah, they won a championship.
Does it make you like
they're in the Pac-12.
Does it make you like a successful organization?
Well, he says he comes in, it's his guys, his players. He got to choose which ones he wanted there to run his system, including his 2 sons are there. One on offense, one on defense.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I'm a Colorado fan and I've been suffering and I'm like, dude, I'm just getting kicked in the nards every single year and I like hate my life. I'd kiss my cousin for 7 wins. Like 7 wins would be like I'm a UNC football fan and I'm like perfectly like 7 wins. I'm like, that's a great season. You know what I'm saying? Like keep your expectations low. Like if you're like a Bama fan, you're like, dude, if we don't win
a national championship, it's a disappointing season.
It's a disappointing season. So like it's just a different standard. And you have to work to get to that standard.
Yeah, I got it. I'm just saying you told a lot of kids there's the door. You bragged about it. It wasn't even like done secretly. You literally embarrassed every one of those kids.
That was weird.
Yeah. And I say kids, 18 to 22. Anyway, there you go. Hey, screw the whole state this year when it comes to football. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Hey, we didn't even get into this real quick. Josh, are you about to say something?
Yeah.
Quarterback situation has been figured out, by the way. We mentioned the Colts. So Anthony Richardson's a starter. Sam Howell's the starting quarterback. Thought for sure Jacoby Brissett was going to be. I said it on the show. I apologize. I was wrong on that. Hell, I was wrong on the preseason game. If you tune in Saturday night to watch the Chargers preseason, because I kept telling you all week it was Saturday. I don't know why. The game was Sunday. I completely blew that for you too. Do not listen to me when it comes to schedules. But Sam Howell became the starting quarterback for the Commanders. Are you guys surprised by that?
I'll let Mario answer this because he's, like he said, North Carolina fan. What do you think, Mario?
Rental, one and done. Like probably one and done. Like Sam Howell he had that great season, and then the next season it was the biggest dud I've ever seen. He was not as sharp. He wasn't hitting guys in route. His receiving core was pretty damn good. Not to mention that he did lose 2 running backs that ran for over 1,000 yards, which probably didn't help him. But I'm not a big Sam Howell believer. I'm not a big like Commanders believer. They're already complaining about Eric Bieniemy being too hard on them, and the offensive players are saying that like he's too mean. Usually complaining about that in August doesn't lead to wins in September and October and November and December. It doesn't lead to that. There's also a new organization with new owners. So a little bit shorter of a leash if you're Sam Howell, shorter of a leash if you're Ron Rivera, shorter leash if you're everyone in that building, unless you're Scary Terry. Like if you're everyone, your job's kind of on the line. So I think it's a rental. I think Sam Howell's a career backup. This is just that 1 year. It's a Ryan Fitzpatrick type of situation, right? We're like, yeah, you're the starter. And then where are you going to be at next year? I don't know. Make sure you don't buy a place. I'd lease. I'd sign a lease. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's just reality. And like in that division too, dude, that's a hard secondaries, man. That Philly secondary you get twice. That Dallas secondary you get twice. It's a hard stuff coming your way.
All right, so here you go. You're a Carolina guy. You just said it. So next year, when it comes time for your boy Drake May to sit here and come out of North Carolina, they're going to say, don't draft a North Carolina quarterback. Trubisky sucks. Sam Howell sucks. What are they going to say about your boy?
Probably the same thing. 'Cause you got a new OC and a ton of guys transferred. So like, I'm not really that hopeful on like. I mean, he's a good quarterback. Like Drake's, I think better than Trubisky. I was never really.
Is he
like
better than Caleb
Trubisky.
Williams? That's the question. Is he better than Caleb Williams?
No,
That's
I
gonna
don't
be the
think
push.
he's.
Which quarterback's going number one?
Yeah, no, I don't think he's better than Caleb Williams at all. He's got to put a lot more weight on. But like he's better than Trubisky, and he's a lot better than Howell. Like Trubisky sucked. He played in one good year, and then people fell in love with like just the way he looked, and like, yeah, let's do this. And then, no, but I think Drake May will be better than both. I don't know how good of an NFL quarterback he'll be. I think Kirk Cousins, I could see him. I think that would be like his. I don't know if sky is the right word, but I bet like if what he'd reach, I bet it would be a Kirk Cousins type. If I had to guess.
Yeah. Mitch Trubisky, I knew he was done when he told the media he wants to be called Mitchell instead. I said, this guy's
me
not.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it for me. Right when he said he needed to be called Mitchell. It's over, buddy.
Kind of weird.
Just hang it up right now.
Yeah. Mitch is cool. Walking to a bar. Mitchell's not cool.
No.
Yeah. What are you doing, buddy? Come on. Yeah.
All right, Mario, do you have is this weird?
I did. I had a celebration with a random family from Spain in the middle of the streets in Chicago, right outside my work, about 4 days ago. Because I was walking, and my pass to get in the building just flew out of my pocket, and I got to my building, and I'm checking my pocket, and I go, dude, you gotta be kidding me. There's no way. So I'm like walking back through the streets going, I've been here for a week. I'm already have to go to my boss. Go, hey, I need a new badge. I was like, it's gonna be so embarrassing. And dude, you would have thought like I was coming home from war with this family was just on the street yelling, Mario, we got it. And I sprinted over there to him, gave them all like high fives, and it was just like I was so excited and so happy, and I have to get a new badge. I hugged them. I was like, I'd Venmo you guys, but I'm poor, and I'm probably not going to do that. And you guys look like you're doing okay. But yeah, celebrated with them a little bit. They asked what restaurant to go to, and I was like, I just moved here, but I heard Starbucks was pretty good, and I like a good laugh. But yeah, so that happened. Yeah, that was a tough one. I have another story, but I need to iron it out a little bit to get that little time to breathe. But I know you both will enjoy, and both city will enjoy.
I got a
Right
question.
now, it's too hot in the streets.
I got an embarrassing moment.
Oh, okay. You go first. No, I quick question because it's happened to a person. They hosted a party, okay, a dinner party.
Yes.
A friend brought over an alcohol bottle, vodka, right?
Mm-hmm.
They drank it, half of it. All right. The girl called the next day and asked if she can pick up her bottle. Do you end that friendship? What would you do?
Okay, were other people drinking out of it at the party, or was it just them?
Yes. No, it's everybody's drinking out of it.
Oh, then yeah, you end it. What are you doing? You know what you're getting.
You can't have a friend like that. Yeah,
you can't
have a friend like
even
that.
If you okay, I don't know about you guys. We've all had parties where, at least at my age, where people come over and they bring something, and guys usually bring beer. Okay, guys usually don't bring even a 6-pack. It's usually 12 or 18, whatever. And then most of the time we don't get to 90% of the beer. I mean, there's a ton of beer in your house left over.
Yeah,
you can't grab the beer that people didn't drink and take it home, right?
No.
You could leave. It's just like, dude, you're nice enough to open up your house, keep it. But if I ever saw a guy grab the 18-pack that he walked in with to walk out because we didn't drink it, dude, no way. Now, if it was food that's going to spoil, that he could ask me, hey, should I just take it with me? Are you guys going to get to this? That I wouldn't in the friendship. But if you walked in with an 18-pack and you left with an 18-pack, dude, I'm never calling.
Yeah, let's role play. You have a party. I bring the 18-pack. Nobody gets to it. Now I'm walking out of the party. I'm holding the 18-pack. Now, what do you say?
Can you believe that, a-hole? I'm telling everybody what you just did. I'm talking so much ass behind your back. It's ridiculous.
I'm saying
to everybody, I embarrass you, dude.
I'm saying something
behind your back.
You. I'm saying something to you. I'm like, you got to bring it back. Like,
yeah,
what do
Mario
we
would. Mario would call you out. I wouldn't. I would sit there and completely talk so much ass about you that you wouldn't be invited to any other party again.
I get it if you bring if you're bringing a beer or you're gonna bring hard alcohol and you bring like a smaller, like not a fifth, but like like the small, I call them the personal ones. Because personal ones, I get them like that means that's not for sharing. Like that's just what you're gonna drink tonight. If it's beer, it's a 6-pack. Like that's just what you're gonna drink tonight.
Yeah.
But dude, if you're bringing a fifth, anything like that, make it cheap. because it's just gonna get ran through. Speaking of a person that like very much keeps his eye out at those type of situations, the person that brings the hard liquor, I'm swiping that so quick. You think I'm not taking that down with you, buddy? I am, and I'm asking for forgiveness and not whatever it's called.
Permission.
Yeah, permission.
All right, Dave,
All
what's
right.
the one you had?
All right, it's embarrassing story. But I'm gonna share it because man, this is what we do on this show. About a week ago, I was with a group of people, like high people up in the city. Okay, and one of those like one of these people doesn't belong. It was me. Like I'm the only guy not wearing a suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone else, if you say their name in the city, everyone knows who they are, and they're like when they're on the news, like they lead the news. Those kind of guys. And the guy who was like the boss of the bosses was in a full suit. Okay. He was in a wheelchair because he was paralyzed from the neck down. Okay. And he said to me, "I'm so glad you're here." He was very nice to me. And I said, "Thank you so much. I appreciate it." And I reached out to shake his hand. And I couldn't believe it. Yeah. It was, yeah. And
Did
then
you leave
and
it
then,
out?
No, I grabbed his hand with my hand like I palmed a basketball. Like I didn't know what to do. It just kept getting worse. Like I felt like Ryan Seacrest when he went to high five that blind girl. You know what I mean? Like I was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, it was so bad. And people saw it. A lot of people saw it. I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's thinking in his mind. Like, are you making fun of me? 100% was not making fun of him. It just, you aren't used to not sticking your hand out to shake someone's hand.
Yeah.
And I went to shake a guy's hand who was paralyzed from the neck down.
How do you greet somebody that can't move their arms? You just like bow like you're Japanese?
I have no idea. Not what I did. I'll tell you that. Not what I did.
Slap on the shoulder, or is that too like?
Oh, I don't even know about that.
Or is that you know? Because that can be taken like you're degrading them still. But you're like, no.
Well, yeah. And the guy, because when you're in that situation, you're extremely thin. I don't want to hurt anyone either. I don't know what to do. I didn't know. I did the wrong thing. Completely embarrassed by it. Like,
write your answer in the comments. What do you do in that situation?
Yeah, what do you do in that?
I was like, I don't know if you saw Boogie Nights. I was like Philip Seymour Hoffman and Boogie Nights just sitting in the car. Idiot! I'm an idiot. Idiot. That's what it was me. So I decided to drive home. Yeah. Anyway, it's in the show. A nightmare. I almost wish I didn't share that story. All right, did not make me feel better. All right, so we'll be back in a couple days. We'll talk more Charger football for you. Break down the AFC West also as they get ready for their last preseason game coming up against the 49ers. Moving forward, some 49ers stuff that we didn't share on the show today that I'm sure we're gonna get to on the next one. But for Josh Palais, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Palais. We'll see you next time. Thanks again for listening through the Odyssey app, the Bolt City podcast. Of course, your comments. We appreciate them. Subscribe, as Mario says all the time, on YouTube. But we'll be back real soon with another Bolt City podcast.
Yeah, subscribe so you can make money.